this is another question that I often get asked about the materials that are required when it comes to sacrifices. So most of the time, it's going to be an animal sacrifice. Most of the time, we're doing a life force offering. There's some rare cases where it is not based on any type of animal sacrifice at all. But again, very, very rare situation, not common. As I always say, different Orishas take different sacrifices and offerings. We do cover this in more depth in the course that we have. We have an Ifa Orisha divination course, which guides you through the different offerings that different Orishas accept and things like that. And we also show you the different sacrifices and offerings. We also show you how to do like certain offerings for people who have Orisha pies. I don't post this publicly as far as which Orisha takes XYZ because it requires context. You can't, as I said before, I wouldn't just tell somebody you go out and you give XYZ to this particular Orisha without giving them the context and the understanding that this should be done by somebody who is trained in this process so that they understand what's going on, okay? There are certain circumstances where you can temporarily substitute some lower level offerings for higher level offerings. So again, as I said before, the higher level the animal, the more expensive it's going to cost. You can do that comparison just by going to the grocery store. It costs more to buy a steak than it does to buy chicken, right? So the same scenario is going to apply if you are sacrificing, a higher level animal for a lower level animal, or a lower level animal rather. So it may come up that a certain sacrifice is needed, but you can't afford that particular sacrifice. Right, so it may be a goat, for instance, and you cannot afford the goat at that time, but you want to go ahead and get that offering out because you're dealing with a situation that requires some level of urgency. You can go ahead and give like maybe a chicken in that case because it will be less expensive for you, but you still need to come back and do that goat as soon as possible. I can't give you a time frame. You want to check with your owl to see like when do I really need to get this goat in to resolve this situation, right? Because it goes back to that same concept that I was saying before. If the Orishas ask for something, that's what they want at that time. You don't just give them what you desire to give them, right? If they're going to work on your behalf, especially when you're dealing with a specific challenge in your life, you definitely want to give them what they ask for. But if it's a situation that requires urgency, it may be the case that you can do the lower level for the higher level temporarily. Consult with whoever you're working with when it comes to situations like that. In general, you can always give the higher level offerings, though, even if a lower level is requested in general. So there are some situations, though, where you can't substitute, even if it's a lower level offering. This is normally going to apply when an Orisha asks for something that they normally don't accept. So I'll give you this example. Like, for instance, Ogun typically accepts certain offerings. Snails are not part of his normal offering. So if you request snails, even though they are considered a lower level offering, especially in terms of finances and things like that, than like maybe a goat or a dog or something like that. But if he asks for snails, you want to give him snails because that's out of the normal range of things that he would typically ask for in an offering. Again, any substitutions, you want to consult with the diviner, the owl, whoever is doing the reading for you. So how long does it take for forever to work? How long does it take for all of these rituals and things like that? All right. As I said before, sometimes it can happen immediately, right away, directly. Just as soon as you do it, it just manifests. But typically, this is not the case. Usually, the results are going to manifest within a year, or at least start manifesting. Let me clarify that as well, because it's not always that everything is going to come right away. If you're dealing with a major issue, you may see bits and pieces of that issue manifest over that year time frame. And you may even need to do extra work or something like that to get it all out, right? So you'll need to have those discussions with your owl or whoever did the reading for you to know where you are, where you stand in that circumstance. How do you know it's manifesting? I know obviously if you experience the changes that you desire, you know that it worked. Or if you avoid certain problems that either were told to you in the reading, like this could happen, you may, end up having this particular problem at this particular time within this particular time frame, and you do your elbow and you don't experience that problem, obviously you know that it was, it worked. Or it could be a situation, especially somebody like going to court or something like that, and you go and you get some work done and the judgment is in your favor. That's a specific example of showing you like this actually worked. I'm gonna say for me, you just feel it. Like you just know, right? You see it happening, but for something that's more abstract, where you're being told like this could happen if you don't move forward in this way, you just have a sense of knowing that this worked out in my behalf and I avoided this particular issue. So that's how it's worked out for me. And a lot of clients too, they say the same thing. They just know like they avoided something deep by doing that elbow.